Let us look at the lithium minerals and some of the exploration models. Um, Last time we've done a presentation on the critical minerals, emphasizing much on lithium, but that was actually done in one of our webinar series using IM as a platform. And I think that video is still online. You can find it on our YouTube also. Today we want to just look at for the basics of, you know, of most of the questions that are coming up based on our last video. So we want to actually look at this. As you are seated, I think you at the end of the day you can actually ask your questions. Don't be reminded to subscribe. Subscription is free. You can also subscribe at any time. Just make sure you subscribe to our videos so that you get updates on new release or different presentation of programs and trainings on different topics on mineral mining. My name is NC Gideon. Okay, so let's move ahead. Um, it is not longer new that there's a rush in lithium now. And lithium is one of the critical metals, alongside with other nickel, copper, manganese, graphite, and other rare elements are crucial to low carbon transition to deliver on climate change and also sustainable development. And the demand now is too it's way very high. The lithium demand has gone beyond predictions. All the things that have been predicted is going more than the lithium already that actually been predicted. This is just because of the Tesla announcement of the usage and production of electric cars. So lithium has become one of the hot gig these days. So we're going to look at most of the things we have in our country, Nigeria, and we see or can look at them and some of the geological models or exploration models actually track them. Obviously, the green technology has actually come to stay in terms of the use of technology and science to reduce human impact on the natural environment. This has actually contributed for the need for us to actually explore more for some of the critical metals. And lithium, being the lightest of all metals on our atomic number three, is an alkaline metal. And that is the reason why this metal is not something you can easily detect using your XRF like other elements. It doesn't occur as elements; it occurs in compound and in different, compound. There are more than 100 of these you can see, but few of them are of commercial quantity. So also, one of other critical, nature of lithium is because of its high reactivity and it never occurs freely. So this is also one of the things that lithium has an excellent electrical conductivity and that is a kind of a low resistivity and also the most electronegative metals that you can see. This is why this is very important production of batteries. And when we look at all the compounds, there are more than 100 of them that we can see that lithium occur. But we're looking at these few. These are the major known ones that are of commercial importance. In Nigeria here, mainly we have the spodumene, the lepidolites, the amblygonite, the hectorite is not actually that the clay mineral, the clay, the one that you can actually see in the clay. Most of the times are not really common and actually be found anywhere here. The jadeite, the one that are called as James, are one of the purest form of eight. They just the spodumene. They have also the pink one, which is called the consonite. This is actually it's called as a kind of a prismatic large-shaped crystals in granite and pegmatite, and most of the time you see them mixed with a kind of quartz. Spodumene it's one of the popular known variety of lithium. The lepidolite is also part of it. Lepidolite also can contain, the potassium, rubidium, and cesium, which provide valuable byproducts. This one is also common and very, very micaceous, actually seen in most of the Nasarawa and that of Kaduna area. Another one that looks like the pink, the castorite that looks like or the petrolite that looks like the pink or quartz. This one, if you're not careful, most of the time you see people bringing quartz as lithium. This is one of the things they say. And when it is lower, this one you look at it, it's very, very more useful on a sources lithium, and when you look at it, it looks like that of quartz. Also, takes the um, amblygonite is actually mistaken for albite. It is fluorophosphate mineral that composed of lithium, sodium, aluminum phosphate, fluoride, and some hydroxides. So this is so some of the lithium sources, major lithium sources are of the five types: the pegmatite, the continental brimes, the geothermal brimes, oil brimes, and all that. But here in Nigeria, we're actually interested in the pegmatite sources, which is mainly coming out of bringing out of spodumene, the amblygonite, the lepidolite, and all that. So that is just it. The word lithium is of no doubt that if you see the word lithium, most of them are coming out from the pegmatite minerals. You can see most of them here in the mount, imagine that of Australia. Australia is one of the biggest producers here. You can see the pegmatite here, the pegmatite from the China. The Chinese are actually producing from here. Australia also. You can see we're actually not known in the world. But what we are bringing up now with the data, you can see we need to place our name in this map. And also, if you look at the Canada, the rules Canada, you find out that most of the productions here are coming out from the pegmatite. And also, you look at here in Brazil, Mibra, Brazil, um, most of them are actually coming out from here. And also, some part actually interesting in Africa. You can see in Africa, we have mainly the Democratic Republic of Congo and that of Zimbabwe are the footprints we have here in Africa. Um, there is no doubt when you ask of whether it's considered as critical. Yeah, it is. It's considered as critical um, metals, and it has actually increased. The U.S. Department of Energy has actually considered future supply and demand for this to be in neighborhood of over 900 tons by 2025 and all that. Then it talk about the uses. The major uses of lithium is actually in battery production. You can see here the 35% ranges for battery production, and ceramics and glass takes the other one, but the other several uses. But you can know that if lithium ion battery is seen as a growth area for the coming years when it comes to Tesla electric car being developed in the US. So it is predicted that at least it requires 40 kg of lithium per car. So you can see that this is going to take a lot of demand to increase. And also, if you look at the global demands, you can see that is on the rise, and the highest on the rise is commercial EVs. You can see how it's actually increasing by 2030. We're looking at definitely it's going to be more than this from what is going on now. And also the supply and the demand is increasing. So many companies are actually going into trying to bring up their supply. You can see definitely by 2025, supply is going to go more than even by four times as actually predicted. The production of lithium carbonate equivalents, you know, definitely um, has to increase by more than 400,000, as was actually predicted before. By 2025, we will see. Even by the end of this year, what we are seeing right now is not what was actually expected. So the prices also, the same way the prices actually show as high. So the prices skyrocketed. In 2021, it was about 17,000. Now it's over 34,000. I don't even know actually the actual price. So it keeps on changing because of the nature of demand and supply. The top production then you can see the Australia still topping, followed by Chile and all that countries and all that. So if you look at these are just the the top producing countries. Australia at least producing more than 50% of actually what is required. China's are there, Chile's are there, and two only African country is Zimbabwe, also followed by US. So definitely we're talking about the rock lithium found in different varieties of pegmatite, but the major pegmatite that actually give us lithium is the LCT pegmatite, the lithium decision and tantalum kind of pegmatite, which you can see here, different colors and different shapes. So the major rare element pegmatite are the NYF pegmatite, which is the niobium, the yttrium, and the fluorine. These pegmatite are product of what we call extreme differentiation of so-called anorrheic. It's the A-type kind of granite, unlike the LCT pegmatite, which is like the from the S-type and the L-type granite. These ones are actually you know the 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 white the white mineral granite kind of. So these are the two major kind of rare elements that we are talking about. um pegmatite. We need to emphasize on this. Now we're looking at more of these models, enable us to actually find these things quickly. The lithium station tantalum have been seen to be the kind of pegmatite that comprise this lithium, and the major minerals actually in them, whenever you see them, the major minerals are the pegmatite are the quartz, the potassium, the feldspar, the albite, and the muscovite, and with other accessories like the biotite, the garnet, tourmaline, the apatite. But the principal ores, minerals are the spodumene, the petalite, and the lepidolite. So this is it. Some of the pegmatite of the world, the LC pegmatite, you can see here, which actually where we produce the rock, the rock lithium pegmatite. You can see coming in from that of Australia, here in China, Zimbabwe, and in Canada. So the well-known LC pegmatites, as we just said, talk about the US, the Tin Mountain pegmatite, talk about the Tanko pegmatite in Canada, talk about the pegmatite in Zimbabwe, that of the Kenticha pegmatite of Ethiopia and China, the Alpine pegmatite, the Australian, the Green Bushes pegmatite. These are well-noted pegmatite that produces world-class kind of LCT pegmatite. So, in Nigeria here, we've seen the show of arts. We also have the known. You see the known pegmatite bodies are actually restricted along the north east trending kind of structures in the northwestern part of the country, and also going to the southern part of the country within the safe. You can see that we have also but the noted ones you can see there. But there are some other pegmatites that are found within the northern part of the country that are not actually LCT. So when we talk about the pegmatite, we start talking about which ones are barren and which ones that are actually um, known rare elements. And most of the problem we have that most of the pegmatites in the country are not actually been mapped and differentiated based on these, whether they are lithium pegmatite, lithium pegmatite, or actually they are lithium session tantalum kind of pegmatites. So some of the byproducts of this, can look at our one, we look at how the potassium, the phosphate, the polyglot, the quartz, and the muscovite. Actually, most of them are actually produced also as industrial mineral. And also the diversity of mineral species in most of this is also very impressive. Like you can see there are so many minerals you can actually identify even from the LCT pegmatites. And the rare metal ore of these things, of this LCT, can also be that of tantalum, can be niobium, can be tin, beryllium, and cesium. We look at some of these associated deposits with them. One, we talk about the common granitic pegmatite, which is like the standard rock forming minerals of pegmatite that are mainly you see everywhere, that the quartz, the feldspar, the plagioclase, and all that. Then the NYF pegmatite, which is rare element pegmatite. They are characteristically enriched with the niobium, but you see greater of tantalum, tin, the yttrium, and rare elements, and even the zircon and all that. The third one, you also they are actually associated with some of the hydrothermal vein, also, containing the tin, the tantalum, the niobium, and also another associated deposit type is the rare element enriched granite, which shows enrichment in some of the rare elements such as the lithium, the tantalum, tin, and also the fluorine. So the trace constituents, most of them tend to be enriched. You see the enrichment in these other, they tend to be enriched in beryllium. Then the pegmatite are actually enriched in boron. Tend to be enriched in fluorine, phosphorus, the manganese, the gallium, rubidium, and other. So when you start seeing elevated numbers in your elements of this constituents trace elements, you start thinking about LCT pegmatite that could actually come give you, what you're looking for. Then you look about the tectonic environment. Quite all right. You can start looking at this. We're talking about the tectonic environment. This tectonic environment that controls um, this is very, very important. Mainly they are found within the metasedimentary and granitic um, uh, rocks. This is actually where you look at them, and also paleopectorism origins and all that. Then you have to also look at, the look at the if you look at what I've been seeing other places, you look at you know the the tectonic events and all that. They are mainly late sect tectonic or early post tectonic, with respect to host rocks. And most of them are actually found in the lower amphibolite facies or the upper green schist, all that. Then they typically they crop out near, try to be the peranimous, peraluminous granite and liquid granite. That is some of the granite that are actually whitish. They have many of the whitish minerals, you know. So, and apart from that, they actually, you look at the temperature also remarkably of short time. That's why you see a lot of matrices, a lot of you see bigger physics of matrix of different elements in some of those pegmatites. And in terms of structure, definitely they are structurally controlled. Um, from what we've done so far, we've seen that they actually are within the natural state. If you see the granitic body that runs northeast from the natural total down to the Wamba area, you can see a kind of a structural control of pegmatitic body, which has actually given rise to some of the lithium um, deposit along that margin. So these structures, actually very important. They are well structurally controlled, and at shallow prostate depth, they also tend to be intruded along some of the fault and fractures, even some foliations and bedding. So you need to actually map out the structures and understand the structural control of those bodies. And they are also not, they're actually constructed along or near major prostate faults also. So you need to look at that. And if you look at this now, these are some of the possibilities of what we are looking at in Nigeria. You can see that definitely what you see here, you can see that this is actually restricted within a corridor. You know, in a corridor. They still some of the pegmatic field we have, the pegmatite field we have in Nigeria or within the northeast, but not all actually most of them. The Koshaka Bingwari are not actually as active or as promising as that of the one here, that Lemashe and Nasarawa Kefi um, pegmatite field. So you can see these are some of the locations that definitely that actually very, very important to look at. Now look at this. You can see what we are saying. So you can see where they are cut across the Oyo, the Oshun, the Ekiti, the Kwara, the FCT, the Nasarawa, the Plateau, the Gombe, and all that. Apart from that, you can see some other ones. But these are the major, you can see the rock, the pegmatic body, the rock type are definitely within this corridor. So these are the prospects we actually need to narrow down on the major prospects for rates. And when it comes to relation to igneous rock, they are most highly differentiated product also, and last magmatic component to crystallize from calc alkaline granitic rocks. So they are of S-type granites, and you need to be actually um, paying particular attention to this, and also the I-type granite. So that is some of the association with that. No more, most of the pegmatic body are not actually found in the cemetery rocks, but definitely those sediment more be metamorphosed. No pegmatites, have been found in truly non-metamorphosed sedimentary rocks. So this is the relation with them when it comes to sedimentary rock. And also to that of a metamorphic rock, you have an interesting thing that you look at from metamorphic environment, the LCT particular occur in metasedimentary rocks and all that. And they occur in metaigneous rocks of low pressure and also upper grade schist or fibrillary schist, you know. And when you talk about the dimensions of them, they do not form in isolation, but as member of some large other kind of field. That's why we talk about the pegmatite field, pegmatite belts, talk about the pegmatite province, and all that. And also they have various forms. They can occur like dikes, like silks, like lenticular bodies, and also oddly shaped masses also. So these mainly are the host rock, the metamorphic rocks, the igneous rock, and host them. The metasedimentary rock, which are the amphibolite or the upper glacial fossil rocks. The meta-igneous belts also can actually host them. Then one of the interesting things is to understand the geophysical anomaly. They do not actually respond so much. They don't have that kind of strong geophysical structure, but because of the extremely low content in iron. So most of the time, magnetic is not that best. But radiometry can do a whole lot, and gravimetry can do a whole lot in trying to differentiate or get some signatures also. Because when it comes to radiometry, using thorium, uranium, and the potassium combinations, different ratios, you can actually see that, that most of the time, some rare element material have some elevated levels of uranium and all that. So you cannot actually do some kind of ratios to ratio mix to see possibilities of differentiating possible area of a variable area for prospects. This is the work that was actually done in Canada using, you can see this gravity that was actually done. And this example shows we're able to detect the cause, different sections, of the minerals. You can see the polycide zone and the lipidolite zones, so you can see that it forms some of different zones, the inner and the outer zone. And this is the body of the rock. Then you also look at the mineral assemblages. There is no way you won't be looking at beryl, you'll be looking at tourmaline, and other associated gemstones. These are some of the mineral assemblages that are very, very important when it comes to exploring for these minerals. And you can see what we see here. You can see the inner core, of pores and pellucid zones, massive microline and pore zones at the inner core. And this is the amphibolite country body of rock. You know. So this is just a cross section that was actually taken to see different zonations when it comes to exploration of pegmatite, the body that can actually give rise to LCT. And you can see the zoning pattern here. You can see the border, the wall, the intermediates, and the core zones. The core zones, you can see the core zones, and the core margins also. So definitely the LCP typically show some mineralogical and some kind of geochemical zonation, and they are broadly concentric and surrounded and exposed to effect granitic kind of body.